You're probably not going to know exactly where I am at the moment, but if I do that, that's obviously the sea. You've been there before. If I do that, for anyone who's been a little bit unsure. So, we are at the bottom of Los Cristianos. We're at the end of Los Cristianos as well. And we're going to have a walk from here, past the market, and just into the start of the town of Los Cristianos. So, let's head on out. There's a really nice pool of water up here. So, come on then, let's go. Right, let's have a look over here, and then we'll walk up to that really nice pool of water. I think on the left hand side there, I think that's nudist beach here, this part down here. Not many people out, obviously. Oh, sorry, right. Obviously not many people around anyway. We'll have a walk across the beach. Well, sandy area. There used to be a, yeah, right on this spot here, there used to be a bar here. Chiringuito Callao or something like that they used to call it. There's a dog in the in this big pool of water down here, or inlet or whatever you want to call it. There's a lady looking after him, so I'm sure it's not the first time he's done it. There's a lady on the beach the other side there. You can see the dog out there. You can see him just in the middle, just there. And that's this old house a lot of people talk about, the old house with the peacocks. So I don't know if you've been down here before. Oh, there we are, Playa del Callao. Nothing to do with Callao Salvaje. I think Callao is a pebble. I think it was a pebble or a rock or something like that. But nice little place, although a little bit stony and rocky, but it depends what you want really from a beach. This is really nice, this area here. We've let our dogs play in here before, but not in this big bit. Not like that dog there. We've let ours play in this little bit down here. So, let's have a wander along then. Wander past, go up past the market. But if you've ever been down this way before, very often you get, well, there still are there, I was going to say, very often you get lots of caravans up here on the right hand side. And then during the weekend, this place is absolutely packed with people with caravans, campers, those sorts of things. So very difficult to find somewhere to park down here during the weekend. Here's that house, don't tell anyone we're looking in it. I always wonder who lives there. So many stories about who does live there and what goes on in there, but I really don't know. But it's just some normal house, isn't it? But just there. It's just there we are, peacocks. There we are. Commonly known as the Peacock House. Now there used to be another bar down here, but they've obviously taken that down as well. There's this old house here. Now, it's probably around here. Maybe it's here, I don't know. I must find out. I can't think where it is exactly. But, in fact, thinking about it, now, probably just here, but I'll have to find out for sure, there was once a factory. And I've got photographs, if I remember, I'll put it up on the screen now. And a factory, it was back in, I'm going to say the 30s, something like that. And it was a factory for cement. It had been a factory for, it was a factory for alcohol, drink, whiskey I think it was. And yeah, I've got old photographs of that, I'll show you, I'll put them up on here. But there's an old house there. I think that's in a few old photographs of Los Cristianos. Playa de los Tarajales. So they did something here. We had lots of sunbeds here as well. There were lots of orange sunbeds, and here, just about here, there was a, was definitely, I think it was here. It was a bar or something like that. It was a portable one, but that's gone now as well. Bit of a shame. There's the port. Empty at the moment, but I have seen the ships coming in and out. Nice view there across to Los Cristianos. If you've ever walked along this promenade here before, you may not have ever really noticed or really thought about it, but it's all sort of in and out like this. And there's a photograph here of it being built with nothing else behind it. And onwards. If you've been to Los Cristianos, you've definitely been along here before. Well, certainly up in this area here before, that's for sure. This hotel on the right hand side, that's the Arona Gran. Then you've got just through, you might not be able to see it, let's see if we can walk down this way a little bit, just the other side of these trees, Paloma Beach. You can just about see the tops of the white roof through there. That's Paloma Beach anyway. And this tall one here, of course, is Costa Mar. That is one of the first ever buildings that was built in Los Cristianos, and in fact you can see photographs of that big building, a tall building, nothing at all, none of this at all here, and then just some sort of like path like that. If I can find that, I'll put it up. But it's just like a path where people would have been on the people would have been living in this complex here and then walking into Las Americas to work. So again, really, I just love old photographs of Los Cristianos because I know Los Cristianos well, so then you know where places are and then you know the sort of differences that they've had. A few people on the beach down here today. Oh, look at the waves over there, massive waves. Yeah, it's quite rough really, the sea. Right, so onwards along to where the market is on the right hand side. So the hotel's shut. In fact, I had an email the other day saying about this hotel. You can see the plastic wrapped up sunbeds, oh no, they're tables up there. And I think they're actually closed for renovation. I think someone said, they sent an email, I'm sure it was Arona Gran, and they said that they were just closing it down until, I'm going to say October, for renovation work, probably taking advantage. Actually, I can hear some drills now behind me. There's likely to be inside. Plenty of people over there on the beach. Las Vistas Beach there, off in the distance. So here's the market on the right hand side, absolutely empty obviously. Not only is it empty because there's no one here, but it's also empty because it's, or I was going to say it's also empty because it's not the market day, but in fact it's Tuesday, so maybe it is the market day today, I don't know. Let's have a look up here. Anyone been to that bar there? That was alright. I don't know if it's closed just because, oh no, it's closed by the looks of it because they've got the windows whited out. Whited out? Don't know if that's right. There's the market with absolutely no one in it. So back down the slope onto the main prom. A few people walking around, obviously not on lockdown anymore in Spain. Warm as well. Nice breeze coming off the beach, off the sea there though, rather. A few people fishing. I'm not so sure that it's, I don't know if they give you licenses anymore. Someone said it was illegal to fish directly off the beach like this. Anyway, who am I to know? I don't even know anything about fishing, so there we are, Marina Bay. So if you've been there before, looks like it's unlikely to be open because the windows, I know we've got no tourism here at the moment, but it just looks like it's totally shut. I did a video of, where did I do a video of? I did a video of Playa de Bay the other day, and it was very windy and very noisy with the sea, and it was very, very difficult to hear the audio. So I'm just hoping that the audio is okay on this. Of course we won't know until I actually edit the video. So we've got here on the right hand side where lots of people are, what do they call them, illegally living. What's that called? I know you can think of the name already. I know you think of the word already. Squatting, that's it, illegal squatting. So it looks an absolute mess if you ask me, but I'll show you in a sec. But there's a nice old house there as well. That's been there for years and years. Years. So it makes me wonder sometimes how, I mean, these bars, I mean, they do survive. These bars here on the right hand side survive. Got Commodoro here. Have you been there before? The Commodoro, this one here, that one there. But then we've got all of that there, which if you walk past it you'll know anyway, but not the nicest of views. But a really nice area. Some of the bars are open. Mem Saab Curry House, if you know that one. Pirate, something about pirate there. Some of the Spanish ones are closed. We've been to that one a number of times, Castanuelas. So Castanuelas is closed and Charlotte's is closed. There's a couple of open ones there though. A bit quieter over this side. The waves don't seem to be hitting the shore so noisily now. Well, if you've walked down here before, you would never have seen it this quiet, I shouldn't think. So there's the Commodoro. Never know if there's a hotel. I mean, there are private apartments in there as well, but I never know if it's really a hotel or just a place where it's got apartments and then they rent some out. Never too sure. Always appeared to be quite a nice place to be, and although some of the apartments, I think they've crammed 2 bedrooms in, and they probably shouldn't have done because it's just made it a little bit too crammed in there. Los Tarajales, if you've ever been here, is a restaurant on the right hand side, just round this poor looking excuse of a waterfall that used to work 8 or 10 years ago. And here's Los Tarajales, the restaurant, obviously opposite the mini golf here. Now this on the right, so we've got the golf here on the left hand side, and on the right hand side this hotel has changed its names a few times, but it used to be, it's an H10 now. There's a name up here, H10 Big Sur, there we are then, H10 Big Sur. But again, more photographs of this from old Los Cristianos, and one of the first hotels. I'm pretty sure it's that one. I'll have a look and see about the photographs and see if I can point it out. And they used to call it something like, is it the Moreque or something? And I think there's also talk about, I think I'm not too sure, but there's talk about oh, so brilliant at names of famous people. Who were the famous people in that film where she died with a bite from the asp? Richard Burton and his wife, can't remember his name now. Can't remember her name now. So opposite that we've got the, is it Petanque? Club Petanca. So a little bit further on, and we've got a couple of buildings here on the right hand side that are quite old, I think probably from the 90s, and on the left hand side we've got one here which is a very obvious one, when it stands out really stands out really well in the old photographs because of its design, sticking out like a whole load of bubbles or pimples on skin. On the right hand side we've got that's Guayero, Edificio Guayero. And this one here, which is the bubbly one, as I said just now, is has a similar name, I think, to Costa Mar, and it confuses me at times because The name of this one is similar to the tall building I was just talking about just now, saying the, here we are, now look, Christianmar, I should say, Christianmar. And there is another one called Christimar, which I think is the other side of the road. But a really nice building, this one. And that's been recently renovated over the last probably year, 18 months, something like that. A lot of these shops here closed, obviously waiting for the tourists. I see the ice cream shop was open down there. Up the stairs. Right, some restaurants open, some not. And we've got the Coronel here, which is another really old property, and there are plenty of old photographs of that as well. If I find some, I'll put them across the video now when I'm talking. But this is normally full of chairs and things. Chairs and tables, but obviously closed. But that looks really nice now. I wonder if someone has bought that recently. That looks very nice now. It used to look quite a bit of a wreck really, but they've taken a lot of the stuff off and it looks nicely painted. Some of the bars open here. And this, the Swiss church. Swiss church? Swedish church. Swiss church, can't make up my mind what flag that is now. Sweden, so it's Swedish. That's the Swedish church, and again, a couple of old photographs of that, which if I remember, I'll put into the video. And now we're getting into a few more bars now open because we're getting close to the beaches. Of course, the people in the beaches are going to be quite open to coming out for a drink or something like that. A lot of people asking where the looky men are. I don't suppose there'll be many about at the moment, simply because normally tourists are their customers. They're not going to sell much to residents. Not going to sell much to residents at all. So there's everyone's, not necessarily favourite house, but certainly everyone knows what's behind those metal covers. The arches of the, I think it's called Casa La Peña. Plenty of people on the beach. They were saying that, who was I speaking to? Oh, Diane from the office earlier, and she said that, was it Diane? No, it wasn't, it was someone else. Who was talking? Who was I talking to earlier? I can't remember now. Some of the shops open here, but the restaurant's closed. Now you know where we are now. Even if you've never walked up to the other end, you'll know where we are. Now, we are allowed here, obviously on the beach. But there's only one access in and one access out by the looks of it, so they've got rope here, which I assume is to stop people from coming in and out at their will. Viking ships in. Quite a few people out there. What's the day today? It's a Tuesday. So, quite a few people around. The little kiosk over there is open. Not putting any sunbeds out, interestingly, though. I suppose they don't have to clean them then. Apparently Sunday, which was the 21st of June, that was the first day of unlockdown, let's say, it was absolutely packed, and you really couldn't even keep the distance, you know what the social distancing rules are. Couldn't even keep them So it was absolutely packed apparently. One of the girls in the gym was telling us that today. Got this little square up here, which is nice. You can see some of these bars are closed, but you don't know whether they're closed for good or are they just closed because there's not much business at the moment. So here's another view now. So we see that view now. I'm going to put another old photograph over there, which will be quite interesting because you can see this house here on the left hand side. But I showed this photograph, this old one I've just put on the screen now, and I showed it to some friends of ours, and he said that his mum lived about 6 doors along, so I imagine it's in this block here somewhere. So the view they would have had would have been here. In fact, the factory I talked about earlier, which is over there now, way over there, he used to go and play in the factory as a child. He's only I want to say 45 or 46, something like that, so it really wasn't that long ago, you know. I mean, it would have been 30 or 40 years ago, I know, but still easily within. In fact, that old factory was used as a barracks for some Spanish soldiers, just in case the Brits wanted to invade, to not say necessarily the Spanish were against the Brits, but just in case they wanted to invade, to have Tenerife as a bit of a stronghold, if you like. So Playa de Los Cristianos. So from the sea behind us we can come into this square here. Bit of noise from some renovation work. So we've got the marina entrance down here, and then here we are in the, whatever you want to call it, the triangle. Again, I'm going to put a photograph because there is something here that was of great importance in this triangle, but I say great importance in the times of General Franco, because I think it was an obelisk, a towery type thing with a point on it, that was there, that was in commemoration of him, as to how supposedly brilliant he was.